I'm Johnny Nelson, former world cruiserweight champion, longest reigning cruiserweight champion of all time, and now I'm a Sky Sports pundit, putting forward the boxing that we see on our TV. So I always think things happen for a reason, and I stumbled across MBST. I was probably kicking myself once I realised the results that could be gained from it, and believed in the results that could come from it. I was kicking myself for not knowing when I was an active athlete, because I knew if I knew about this when I was an active athlete, my career could have gone on 2 or 3 or 4 years longer, pain-free. My last stop was Oakwood near Nottingham, Bingham, and somebody in the gym told me about it, and I thought I'll go and have a look, because the next stop was an operation on my back. I couldn't stand up without making noise. I could never touch my toes, couldn't get past my knees. And this had gone on and got worse as the years had gone on. Now I'm 54 years old, so it's only going to get worse. And this had been going on since I was in my 40s and getting worse and worse and worse. I just had enough. I gave myself a 10-year plan, 50 to 60, right? This is the fitness I want. If I've got to have an operation, let's do it. I went down to see Ian Elwood MBST, and he started talking. And I will tell you the truth, when he started talking, I didn't believe a word he said, because I thought, if this is true, I'd know about it. If this is true, I'd know somebody else that knew about it. So it was just, I just thought, is he trying to sell me some magic here? And he said, look, just have it. He stopped talking halfway through and smiled. Such a nice guy. Stopped talking halfway through and smiled. He said, look, I'll stop talking. You tell me what you think after you've had your sessions. I went, all right, no problem. So I did the first session. I can remember getting on the bed, rolling off the bed, back pain. Second session, that was bad. Third session, I got up and didn't even think about it. Now, I remember, every time I stood up or sat down, every time I'm in bed, you've got to think about the process. Things we take for granted, walking, talking, sitting down, standing up, getting in and out of bed, we take these things for granted. When you've got to think about that movement before you do the movement, makes it even harder. This is what I was doing for a period of time where it became a habit. So after the third, fourth time of being on the bed, I got up. And when I stood up, I realised I'd not had to think about getting up or how I was going to manoeuvre myself. I'd finished the course, did 9 sessions, 1 hour each session, continuously, drove up and down. And I felt a bit silly having to tell him, I'm actually all right here. It's worked. But then I kind of got mad at myself thinking, why don't you tell everybody else this? Because I'm my own example. I don't need a script. I don't need anybody to cue me on everything. I'm telling you now, this thing works. This is a life changer for me. And unless you suffer from aches and pains, especially the back pain I was suffering from, you'll not be able to relate to what I'm saying to you. But this is an absolute life changer. And I tell everybody and anybody, and they all give me that same look I gave Ian, as if to say, you're talking rubbish. I say, just try it. Just try it, and you will do exactly what I'm doing with other people. And that's what I did. In fact, on one of the sessions, I think it was about session 7, there was a guy came to measure up my windows in my house, and I was just leaving to drive down to Bingham. And we just got into conversation. I told him what I was doing, where I was going. I said, you know what, it bloody works. And he said, all right. He said, actually, my wife's got a really bad back problem. I might attempt to give him a ring. And I left it, gave him the number, I left it. And then I'd gone through my sessions 3 or 4 weeks down the line. I get a phone call from this builder. I thought it was about the work he was going to do. He said, I just want to say thank you. I said, for what? He said, my wife went down to Bingham and it's absolutely changed her life. And just that simple conversation, people knowing. And that's why I think sportsmen, it'd benefit them perfectly. But you don't have to be a sportsman. You don't have to be an ex-sportsman. You can be a Joe Public. It benefits you and it will change your life. And that's all I can say. It changed your life because it did mine. I'm smiling all the time. I'm not thinking about getting out of bed.